I've made a bunch of videos here on the channel about creating a Minecraft server. And I'm pretty sure if you're just gonna go over all of those videos, you will be able to easily make a Minecraft server of your own. But when I was scrolling through my entire video library, I noticed that I don't really have a single video that explains everything all the way from start to finish. Just the whole process of server creation, where I talk about everything from choosing server type to choosing a host, actually setting up the server, installing plugins and mods, all of that stuff. So that is exactly what we're gonna do today. In today's video, I'm gonna try to go over everything when it comes to creating a Minecraft server. I do want to mention that the vast majority of my daily viewers are not actually subscribed. So if you could just double check, I would appreciate it a lot. And with that being said, let's go and create a server of our own. So the first thing I want to talk about is server software, aka what type of Minecraft server are you gonna run? There are lots of different server types out there, so I'm gonna generalize it a little bit. There are three main types you can choose from. Either a vanilla Minecraft server, that is the server that you can download from Mojang's own website, and it is essentially just a single player Minecraft world, but then hosted for multiple people. Then you can run a plugin based server. That's not an official name, that's just what I call it. But these are Minecraft servers that allow you to install plugins. Plugins are essentially just server-side mods, so it is a type of server that allows you to modify it from the server side. This is great because it means that players that want to play on your server don't have to install anything on their end. And then there are modded Minecraft servers. These are Minecraft servers that allow you to install mods, just full-blown mods. But if you want to play on a modded server, you also have to install the mods that the server is running on your own local client. In other words, to play on a modded server, you need to also mod your own game. Because not everyone knows how to mod their game, and it makes the server less accessible, the vast majority of big public servers like MCC Island and Hypixel, those are all plugin based servers. Though if you want to play something like, for example, Cobblemon, then of course it needs to be a modded server. Now of course there are exceptions. You can make a modded server that doesn't require players to install anything on their end. It is possible, but I'm gonna generalize some things a little bit, otherwise it's just gonna be so much to explain. So those are the three main types you can choose from. Now, after you've chosen the type of server you want to run, you need to choose where you want to host your Minecraft server. And you can host a Minecraft server basically anywhere. You got an old laptop, you can host a server on there. You can also host it on your own computer, so the one you're using to also play Minecraft with. You can even run it on a NAS if you have one available, or a Raspberry Pi. But a Minecraft server is a server. It's an application that needs to be open. And if you close down that application, then, well, the server is gonna go offline as well. And if you want your server to always be online because you want your friends to be able to join whenever they want, then hosting it on a system which is not always on might not be that convenient. Which is why there are companies out there that offer to host a Minecraft server for you. One of those companies is my channel partner, Alienhost, and I will talk more about them in a bit. But again, we're gonna generalize stuff a little bit today, otherwise it's gonna become really complicated. So the two main ways of hosting we're gonna take a look at are local hosting, so on your own computer, and then hosting on an external host, like for example Alienhost. Okay, so now that we've talked about both server type and host, now you gotta make a decision. Which server type do you want to run and where do you want to host it? If you know that, we can move on to the next step, which is actually creating the server itself. Now the first thing you have to do is download the Minecraft server software that you want to use. If you want to use the vanilla Minecraft server software, there will be a link to this page in the description down below. Over here it will say download Minecraft server and then the latest version. Currently, at the time of making this video, that is 1.21.10, but even in the future this method will most likely be the same. So we're simply gonna click on this file, which will initiate the download, and there we go. For my own convenience, I've called it vanilla server. That way I'm not gonna mix them up. If you've decided you want to run a Minecraft server that supports plugins, you have more than one option available. A vanilla server is a vanilla server, nothing special about that. But a plugin based server is a community maintained server. In other words, Mojang didn't make this, the community did. And therefore there are multiple teams in the community that make their own server software. So PaperMC is by far the most popular one as of making this video. This is also the one I'm gonna show off in this video. But then there is also PurpleMC, which allows for a lot more customization. There is LeafMC, which is a bit controversial. Some players really like it, others absolutely don't. But if you know nothing about all of these different server softwares, I would highly recommend simply going for paper. So again, link to this page can be found in the description down below. We're gonna go to downloads, then we're gonna click on paper, and then we're gonna download the latest version, which for paper currently is 1.21.8. There is a 1.21.10 experimental version. By the time you're watching this video, we might be playing 1.24.30. I don't know what versions we're gonna have in the future, but the way of downloading will probably be the same. So simply click on here. That will then initiate the download, and there we go. Now, if you want to host a modded Minecraft server, your choice is a bit more difficult, because there are 4 major mod loaders available, where one doesn't really matter. Quilt, you know who you are, but the other 3 are distinct mod loaders. And the reason this matters is not every single mod works on every single mod loader and therefore on every single modded server. So if we, for example, navigate to the Cobblemon mod on Modrinf, you can here see which platforms it supports. Cobblemon is available for Fabric, Forge, and NeoForge. So when you're gonna create a modded Minecraft server, you wanna make sure you choose one of these 3 server softwares. Now, I'm gonna be honest, nowadays, the vast majority of big mods out there do support every single major modding platform. Quilt is not here, but Quilt is never here. These are the 3 that really matter, and most mods will be available for all 3 of them. But if there is a specific mod you want to play, go to its page and go check which platforms it does support. Lots of mods support Fabric though, and this is the one I'm gonna show off. So over here, we simply want to click on download, and then you can choose between either a download for Windows or a universal jar. Now, to execute the universal jar, you do need Java installed, but we're gonna install Java in a bit anyway. But I'm on Windows, so I'm gonna download the Windows installer, and this will give you an exe file. Now, when you double click the exe, it will then open up this menu, and over here you can decide between client and server. As we're making a server currently, we're gonna click on server. Then we're just gonna choose a version of Minecraft, and in 99% of cases, just go for the latest mod loader version as well. Then we're gonna click on install, and after doing that, you will see this, and we now have a Fabric server jar available. You can go exe file, there we go. The Fabric server jar is here. Great. Okay, now that we got the server software, you need to make a decision between hosts. I'm not gonna make a decision though, I'm gonna show you both methods. We're gonna start with localhost. If you don't want to run a Minecraft server on your own local PC though, but you want to use an external host like Alienhost, this video will be timestamped and you will be able to jump to that section of the video where I explain how to do it on an external host. But let me show you how to do it on your local PC first. Before we can set up a Minecraft server locally on our own PC though, we need to go ahead and install Java. We're of course making a server for Minecraft Java Edition, and therefore the server we're running also requires you to have Java installed. There will be a link in the description that will take you to this page. You can see that currently the 2 main versions are JDK 25 and JDK 21. Now for Minecraft 1.21, which is as of recording the latest version of Minecraft, JDK 1.21 is the one that you need. Though there's a big possibility that in the near future, the newest version of Minecraft will require JDK 25. You can literally just Google which version of Java do we need for this version of Minecraft, and Google will tell you. So for JDK 21, we're gonna choose our own platform. For me, it's Windows. And then I would recommend just going for the MSI installer. It's definitely the easiest. So simply click on the download link, and then you simply want to execute this file, continue clicking on next, and after that, it will start installing Java on your own computer. I would highly recommend restarting your computer after you're done, just to make sure that everything works properly. Now, after that has been done, you want to create a folder. This folder can be anywhere. I'm gonna create it on my desktop, and I'm gonna call it subscribe, because you definitely should. Then inside of that folder, you will need to drag whatever Minecraft server type you've chosen. So vanilla, plugin based, or modded. In my case, I'm gonna show off the modded one here on my own local computer, so that I can show how to set up a plugin based server at an external host. But now that we have the server jar you've chosen inside of a dedicated folder, we can simply go ahead and execute it. At least you should be able to do that. This does not always work though. Sometimes when you double click this jar, even with Java installed, nothing will pop up and nothing will happen. If that is the case for you as well, there is one additional step involved, which is creating a run.bat file. Now, how do you do that? Simply go ahead and right-click and create a new text document. This text document doesn't need any name. We're simply gonna open it up. And inside of this text document, you wanna paste the following text. Echo of Java something something very cool something server.jar pause, okay? I won't let you type this out. You can copy this from the description of this video. Now over here, you gotta change two things. First up, the RAM. 1024M means 1024 megabytes, which you probably know is 1 gigabyte. 1 gigabyte for a Minecraft server is not a whole lot. So what you can do is change this to, for example, 4 or 8 gigabytes. You can do that by either changing this amount to its appropriate amount for 4 or 8 gigabytes, or what you can also do is simply type 4G. There we go, 4 gigabytes. We need to change it here as well. There we go. That should be enough for now. After that, there's one more thing you need to change, which is the server.jar. The server.jar, that is the file that will get executed. If we go back to our server folder, you can see that our jar is called fabric server launch.jar. So what you want to do is you want to copy this file name, and then inside of the text document, you want to replace server.jar with your own file name. So there we go. Fabric server launch.jar. Looks good. Now we're gonna go to file. After that, we're gonna go to save as. Very important, not normal save. Save as. And here down at the bottom, we're first gonna change the file type to all files. So not text document, all files. There we go. And then we're gonna call it run.bat. Just like that. Make sure to click on save afterwards, and you can see the run.bat file now exists. Now when we click the run.bat file, you can see it doesn't work yet, because I actually forgot something. When we downloaded the Fabric installer earlier, it didn't only create a server jar for us, but also a libraries folder, which has been on my desktop this entire time. That libraries folder, you also want to drag that one in. It's really important, because when we now execute run.bat again, it is gonna tell us how to continue forward. So here it says, without the official Minecraft server jar, Fabric loader cannot launch. This might seem confusing, but it makes sense. The Minecraft server jar, the official one, is of course copyrighted by Mojang. A third party, like the people making Fabric, are of course not allowed to redistribute that. So to get this server running, you will need to provide the official Minecraft server jar as well. Now I showed you how to download the official server jar earlier in this video, so I'm simply gonna drag it into this server folder as well. There it is, vanilla server. And now we're gonna open the Fabric server launcher.properties file. I'm currently opening it with a software called Visual Studio Code. And over here we simply want to specify the name of the vanilla jar. So in my case, it's gonna be vanilla server. Then you wanna save this file again, exit out, and double click the run.bat file once more. And you can see stuff is being generated. A whole bunch of things will generate inside of your server folder, and then it will tell you it failed to load the eola.txt. This is because we have to agree it. So just press any button to close this window. You should see a whole bunch of new folders. Simply go to eola.txt, and here all you want to do is change the text false to true. Just like that. That's all. Then go ahead and save the file, exit out, and once again execute run.bat. It is now gonna do a whole bunch of stuff, and eventually this should all pop up for you. If you get a Windows security pop-up, simply click on allow, and then it is now officially going to boot up your Minecraft server. Inside of Minecraft, we would now already be able to join this server if we simply go to multiplayer, add a server, and then in the server address bar, we're gonna type local host. When I click on done, you can see it is a server. It is actually online. It is a version 1.21.10, which my client is currently not on, but the server works. And that's all that matters. That is how you get your Fabric server up and running. Currently, it is still only running on your own local network, which means that you can join, but people who are not connected to the same network as you are won't be able to get on. So if your friend doesn't live in your house, they can't join yet. Now, there are multiple ways to let people join. Port forwarding is one of them, but this requires you to log into your router and change settings there. And even though it's not hard to do, it can be a bit of a hassle. Logging into your router is not something you do every day, and maybe you don't even have access to your router, or your ISP doesn't allow you to port forward. If that is the case, there are other methods to allow players from outside of your home network to get onto your server. One of them is using a service called playit.gg, and an alternative to that would be using Minecube Connect. I have two quite recent videos about both methods here on the channel. I will leave a link to both of them as a card, so do make sure to check them out if you want an easy method to let your friends join. Okay, now that you know how to set up a Minecraft server on your own local system, we're now gonna go over how to set up a Minecraft server at a server hosting company. Now I'm gonna show you how to do this on channel partner Alienhost. They offer a wide variety of games, including Minecraft of course, multiple different regions around the world, and on their website you can completely build your own Minecraft server. So you can choose your RAM, your storage, your databases and backups, you can choose your own server type, but of course you can always change this later on. But by building a server yourself, you will never have to pay for resources that you don't use. And if you use code KASAISORA at checkout, you will get a whole 20% off of your first month, which will of course also help me out along the way. But if you're on Alienhost and if you have a server here, you can simply go to Hangar. After that you want to click on the three dots here on the right side of your server. Then you want to go ahead and click on Manage Fleet. And then here you want to choose for the Core Manager. And this is where you can change your server type. So currently I have Paper MC selected, but if I want to run a Purple server or a Fabric server or a Vanilla server or a Velocity server and even a Limbo server, that one is new, you can simply go ahead and select it here, click on check, then click on Set Ship Core, and your server type will then change. After your server type has changed, you can click on Game Panel, and this will then bring you to the Pterodactyl environment of Alienhost. Over here we can see our server, it is a Paper MC server, and now all you want to do is simply go ahead and click on Start. But the reason that manually downloading server software still matters is because not every single hosting company out there simply allows you to choose a server type and then immediately launch it for you. Don't get me wrong, 99% of hosts do, but in some rare cases they don't. And if that is the case, you simply want to go to Files, and then over here you want to upload that manually downloaded server software. One thing that is very good to keep in mind is if you go to Configuration and then to Startup, over here you can see what server jar the host is gonna be looking for. So currently it is gonna be looking for a file named server.jar. If the jar file you upload has a different name, you will have to change that here. And oh, by the way, what is that? This looks familiar. Of course there is some other stuff here, but this looks very similar to the run.bat file we made when creating a server locally on our own system. Over here you can also change the Minecraft version, which is really important. So if you leave this empty, it will always default to the latest version of Minecraft. Though if you type in a server number here, for example 1.21.8, and you after that go to Settings, and then you click on Reinstall Server at the bottom, it will then go ahead and download the 1.21.8 version of Paper. At least if Paper is the server software that you've selected, and if 1.21.8 is the version that you chose. You will see this screen, you gotta wait for a bit, and then it's done. After that, simply click on Start. Your server is now booting, and this is gonna be the server IP that you can share with all of your friends. If you click on here, it will copy to your clipboard, and then inside of Minecraft, if you click on Add Server and add that address, then there it is. And this address you can immediately share to all of your friends, everyone who you want on your server. No additional steps are required to actually make it so people can join. It now just works. Okay, so far we went over server software, different host types, and I showed you how to set up a Minecraft server locally on your own computer and how to do it at a third-party hosting company, like for example Alienhost. Next, we're gonna go over installing content, because if you decided to create a plugin-based or a modded server, that means you're now able to install plugins or mods respectively. But how do we actually do that? Well, let me show you. First, let me show you how to install mods, because I'm gonna spend less time on this subject. Installing most mods is really straightforward. By the way, no matter if you chose to run a Minecraft server on your own system or at a third-party host, the way you install mods is essentially exactly the same. You first want to go ahead and look for a mod you want to install. I'm gonna go for Let Me Despawn. I know this is also a data pack and a plugin, but it's also a mod, so it works for this video. If you're on Modrinf, which is definitely my recommended platform to download mods from, you simply want to go and click on download. Then you want to choose the version. Our Fabric server is on 1.21.10, so that's the version I'm gonna select. And then from this big list, we're gonna choose for Fabric. We're gonna click on download, and there we go. After it has been downloaded, there it is, we simply want to locate the mods folder in our Minecraft server directory, open it up, drag the file in, and you're good to go. That's literally it. The mod is successfully installed. Now do keep in mind that depending on the mod you decide to install, players may also have to install that mod on their own client. Let Me Despawn is a server-side only mod, which means everyone will be able to join your Fabric server without installing anything on their end. But if you decide to go for a mod like Cobblemon, which adds a whole bunch of extra stuff to the game, you will also need to install the mod on your own client, otherwise you will be unable to get in. The general consensus is, if there is a mod that actually adds new stuff to the game, like new mobs or blocks of items, then in most cases, not always, most cases you also need to install that mod on your client. Because of course your client needs to know the existence of all of these custom mobs and blocks and items, otherwise it can't display them to you, and you would not be able to see all of the Pokemon that Cobblemon adds. Now, two more important things to keep in mind. First of all, if you're running Fabric like I am here, you're also gonna want to install the Fabric API. It is an API you can drag into your mods folder, and it is required for most Fabric mods to work. If you're not running Fabric though, but for example Forge or NeoForge, you don't have to do this whatsoever. Only if you're running Fabric, it is actually necessary. And second, if you've booted your Minecraft server once with the mods installed you want to run, you will see that a brand new folder appears called config. Inside of the config folder, you will find all of the different configurations for all of the different mods that you have installed. Now, if you're just gonna play a mod pack, you probably don't have to change a whole lot of stuff here. Most mods don't require you to configure a lot, but if there is a certain mod that you want to tweak a bit, here inside of the config folder, that is where you want to do it. So just to give you an example, let me open up the config for the Let Me Despawn mod. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there's not a whole lot to configure. That is actually the case with a lot of different mods. They don't require that much configuration, but if you need to configure them, now you know where to do it. Next, I'm gonna show you how to install Minecraft plugins. And this I'm gonna show off at the external host. Though do keep in mind, if you want to install plugins on a paper server on your own local PC, the method is basically the same. So if you're hosting at Alienhost, there are two ways to actually install plugins. The first option is simply going to Management and then clicking on Plugins. This will take you to the Plugins page. And over here you can simply install plugins by clicking on the Install button. It is that easy. So you can choose your provider, and Alienhost supports all of these different platforms. You can also choose your plugin loader, and yeah, you can see how many different plugin loaders are available. We're currently using Paper, but if you're using Folia or Bungee Cord or Purper or Sponge, then there will be a different assortment of plugins that support that platform. You can also choose your Minecraft version, you can also search, and if there is a certain plugin you want to install, all you have to do is click on this button and you're good to go. I like doing stuff through the old school method though. So what I usually do is I simply go to Files, and this is also the method that you would use if you're running your server locally, and then you simply want to locate the plugins folder. And inside of the plugins folder, that's where you want to drop all of your plugins. Just like with the mods, it's a matter of dragging and dropping. Now, unlike mods, which you in most cases install to add things to the game and have fun, plugins are usually more aimed towards server management and quality of life improvements. Essentials X adds a whole bunch of commands to your game, which makes doing things just a lot more convenient. For example, it allows you to do things like setting a home by typing /set_home, and then you can teleport to that location by typing /home. Nothing crazy, but just a very good quality of life feature. It can also, in combination with Vault, add an economy to your server. So in case you want an in-game currency that players can use to buy things from a shop or from an auction, then Essentials X and Vault together can totally do that. You also got plugins like Multiverse Core that literally allows you to create additional worlds on your server. By default, you just have one overworld and then a nether and an end dimension. But if you install this plugin, you can make as many worlds as you want. And with plugins like Luckperms, you can create groups on your server that the community unanimously refers to as ranks, that can make it so players in certain groups groups can do more things on your server than others. You also have plugins like Chunky, which allows you to pre-generate your world, making it a lot less resource intensive to load in new terrain, which on its turn improves your server's performance. And you even have plugins like Craft Engine, which allows you to add custom items and blocks to your server, but it does it in a way that the player doesn't have to install anything on their end. So it adds blocks and items just like mods do, but unlike mods, players don't have to mod their own game. Now, of course, there's so many more plugins available, and I've actually made a video about a whole bunch of them here on the channel. I have a dedicated Minecraft plugins playlist, where in every single video there I cover a different Minecraft plugin. I also have multiple top 5, top 10, top 15, and even top 30 plugin videos here on the channel. So if you want to learn about some more plugins to potentially install on your server, I would highly recommend checking those videos out. Now, something I do quickly want to point out is if you install a plugin, like for example, Vein Miner, there we go, and you then reboot your Minecraft server, the server is not gonna generate a config folder here in the same way that modded Minecraft servers do. Yes, there is a config folder, but this folder is just there for the paper configs. On plugin-based Minecraft servers, the configurations will actually be generated inside of the plugins folder. So if we go in the plugins folder, you can see we got the veinminer.jar file, but we now also have a Vein Miner folder. And inside of the Vein Miner folder, you're gonna find the config for the Vein Miner plugin. So works a little different there, but if we open up the Vein Miner folder, you can see here we got a whole bunch of different files, from settings to groups to blocks. And when we, for example, go to settings, you will be able to customize the plugin here. Of course, it very much depends per plugin how many configs you get and what you can customize, but this is where and how you can do it. Now, there's not one single method on how to configure Minecraft plugins. Every single plugin is different, and every single config is too. The vast majority of videos on this channel are literally Minecraft plugin tutorials, where I basically show how to configure a Minecraft plugin. That is a very prominent type of content I make here, and the type of content I will continue to make in the future, so do make sure to subscribe if you're interested in that. And with that all being said, that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye, see you later, bye bye!